It's the fastest growing company in history, used by 400 million people a month. The internet search engine Google has turned its founders from students to multi-billionaires.
It's a revolution, and, like the Industrial Revolution.
Worth almost $140 billion, Google's explosive growth is thanks to its lucrative advertising system. Tonight, the Money Programme does its own research on this extraordinary money-making machine and finds out how it's changed the lives of countless millions of people who now inhabit the world according to Google. And these are the guys who made it all possible. Google's founders, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, still in their early 30s and each worth an estimated £6 billion. Theirs is a dramatic tale which began 10 years ago when Larry and Sergey were both brilliant computer science students.
If you're going to San Francisco.
The two met on a day out from Sergey's university. Sergey was acting as tour guide for some prospective students, and Larry was in the group.
Both of them are, in the scary smart category, and as they walked up and down the hills of San Francisco, they argued about just about everything. But in fact, I think they enjoyed their arguments immensely, and it's what brought them together.
Back on campus, the arguments turned to collaboration. Larry and Sergey developed a piece of software which they believed could revolutionize searching the internet.
They kind of shopped it around to some of the existing search engines, and existing search engines weren't, as fond of it as they were and as I was, and so we decided that the best way to get it out there was to make our own company.
Larry and Sergey always believed their system was a winner.
If you printed out the information, it could be over 70 miles high. And we can search that for you in half a second and give you, back exactly what you wanted.
We're focused at providing very relevant search results very quickly and objectively.
All across the nation.
It was 1998, the height of the dot-com boom. Larry and Sergey soon found a rich investor. Then they found a name.
We actually went through thousands of names, and we had settled on Google because it sounds fun. It also means a very large number. It means 1 followed by 100 zeros, which is, a huge number, and it represents what the company tries to do, is make sense of all the information in the world.
And they registered it and proudly wrote in big letters on the board, Google.com. And the next morning, their office mate came in and they said, we don't have to worry anymore. Look, we finally named the company. And he looked at them and said, you idiots, you misspelled it. Because it turns out the number is actually spelled Googol. But of course, Larry and Sergey, both being horrendous spellers, had no idea that they had misspelled it. But it turns out everyone else does too, so it's actually fortuitous.
And that was the last mistake Larry and Sergey ever made. Their new business was about to change working life in almost every other business in the world. From the start, Google wasn't just a business.
Say you want a revolution.
For Larry and Sergey, it was a mission.
We all want to change the world.
We're basically expanding people's brains with all of the world's information.
Well,
People are very passionate about it too. They're like, you guys saved me so much time, you helped me find the things that I wanted.
But when you talk about destruction.
Lunchtime hockey in the car park was all part of how Google was going to be different.
It's a revolution, and, like the Industrial Revolution.
Inside, the office was a playground of lava lamps and bouncy balls. Sergey himself created the Google logo with its childlike colors to remind users that Google wanted to be a force for good.
It's the belief of most people who work here that, the world is a better place when more information is available to more people.
But they soon discovered that idealism doesn't pay the bills. Larry and Sergey had to find a way for Google to make money.
We were always confident that we would find a way to make money, even though we didn't know exactly what it was.
In 2000, Larry and Sergey hit the jackpot and turned the corner from successful search engine to successful business. Their secret? A special system of advertising. So how does it work? Well, if you're trying to find out about, say, Stonehenge, here's what you get. These are ordinary search results. And over here is a list of ads. They're from companies who've picked Stonehenge as a key word which triggers their ad to appear. They're businesses who all think someone searching for Stonehenge might also be interested in them. Now, what's really smart is that those companies only pay when someone clicks on their advert. For advertisers, it's heaven. Every pound of their ad budget brings them interested customers.
Well, the Google advertising system, in many respects, actually really takes the risk out of advertising. It's actually like having a magic fruit machine where you put, for example, maybe £1 in, and you know that you're going to be guaranteed to get £10 out.
And that was how a humble student project became the fastest growing and one of the most profitable companies ever. In August 2004, Larry and Sergey floated Google on the stock market. But they hung on to their idealistic vision. The company motto reminded staff, "Don't be evil." Larry pushed the button to launch Google's stock at a price which valued the company at $27 billion. Back at Google HQ, half the company's employees became millionaires overnight. Google had managed to turn its unconventional style into hard cash. Five years ago, Larry and Sergey were happy to be filmed hanging out with the staff in the Google canteen. Today, they keep a low media profile, except when duty demands. Despite their huge wealth, they still like to think of themselves as computer geeks. As Google's own website tells us about Sergey, with an apparently straight face, he is currently on leave from the PhD program in computer science at Stanford University. Sure.
There are two things that are occurring with the founders of the company. One is the crushing weight of wealth, just having $11 billion and trying to figure out what that means as a person. It turns you into a rock star, it turns you into a person that you weren't before. Even if you want to fight it, I'm sorry, you have $11 billion. And then there's the crushing weight of the social responsibility of being Google, which is, a company that is changing the world and is expected to act accordingly. And those two things combined can't help but make a person a little bit crazy.
Google's stock is performing spectacularly, more than quadrupling in value in less than 2 years, making the company worth almost $140 billion.
The outside world sees the success. Those of us who are inside know the many different challenges and know the many different possible failure points and risks that are available, and it still keeps us motivated to work very hard and make sure that Google can execute as best it can, and that's what we focus on.
In just 7 years, Google has gone from a clever little internet tool spread by word of mouth to a global brand that's almost impossible to ignore. The trouble is, the more it expands, the more it finds itself in direct competition with the likes of Microsoft, eBay and Amazon, some of the biggest companies on the planet. And it's those battles that will decide the future of the world, according to Google.